build our H-brace today, we'll be using our fence wire mounted on a spinning jenny, a power drill with a 13" by 3/8 auger bit to drill holes for our 10" and 5" brace pins, and a hammer to drive the pins into the post and secure our staples, as well as a staple starter. To tension the H-brace, we'll be using a strainer with a strainer handle and a crimp tool and crimp sleeves. You'll also need a marker, tape measure, and some pliers or wire cutters or a multi-tool. Now we're ready to start building H-braces. We'll give you a little bit of basics on H-braces before we jump into the how-tos. We want the length of our H-brace to be twice the height of our fence. So if we're looking for a 4-foot finish fence, we're going to use roughly a full 8-foot long horizontal post. We can always trim this if needed to give it a good snug fit. Some of the anatomy of our H-brace: at our end, or what would be your corner, you'd like to have a 6 to 7" by 8-foot post. Secondary vertical support post, or what some people would call the queen post, is going to be a 5 to 6" by 8 foot. And then our horizontal post will be a 4 to 5" tapered post, 8 foot long. It's going to fill in the gap. This post is going to be held in place by brace pins at both ends. Then we'll be ready to install our diagonal wire, being held in place with a staple at the bottom of our main end termination or corner post. One thing you can do to make your project quicker and easier is make a cheat stick that has your wire settings marked on it. You'll just carry this with you to every single post so that you can mark your spacing of your wires. The contacts for this build, we've opted for spacing of 6, 6, 8, 8, and 10, 10. That's our inches. That'll land us at 48 inches for our top wire. And this is important for your horizontal brace because we want it to fall somewhere between the top wire and the next wire down. Preferably that'll put us at 10 to 7 inches from the top of our vertical posts. We're going to go ahead and start marking our posts for our height settings of wire. So we know our wire spacing now. We've picked a mark in between our top wire and the next wire down of 44 inches. We're going to measure from the outside of our secondary vertical post because we're going to be drilling from the outside in on this post. So we're going to go ahead and mark the outside at 44 inches. So now we're going to move over to our main end post and we're going to mark on the inside, because we'll just be tapping into the inside of this post for our brace pin. We're going to mark 44 inches. Now we're ready to dry fit our horizontal post. Ideally, this 8-foot post will fit perfectly in between your two verticals. Maybe you got into rocky soil conditions or your spacing is a little too close and you need to trim your post. We're going to show you how to do that. Basically, you just measure from pin mark to pin mark and cut accordingly. Come up. Now we're going to check our dry fit for our horizontal post. We're going to set it in position, see how we did on our cut. Keep in mind you want your thicker or larger end of the horizontal up against your larger post, in this case the 6 to 7", and we'll put our skinnier end up against the 5 to 6" post. Good fit. With a good fit on our horizontal brace post, we're ready to start drilling for brace pins. To do so, we're going to be using a cordless power drill with a 13" by 3/8 diameter auger bit. That's going to create the pilot hole for both our 5" brace pin and our 10" brace pin. So start with your 5" brace pin. To accommodate this brace pin, we're going to drill into our end post, your termination post, or what would be a corner post. You're going to drill in about 2.5 inches deep. I have that marked on the bit. If that helps you, you can put a mark on there to know your depth of drive. We'll also be drilling into the larger end of our horizontal post, about the same distance, to share that 5" pin between the two. We're just going to check our pin here, and that's about perfect. We're ready to tap into the end of our horizontal brace post. We're going to drill into it another 2.5 to 3 inches to take up the last bit of our 5-inch pin. We have both our holes drilled and our brace pin is in place. We're going to lift the post up to height and seat it onto that brace pin, and then we'll slide it up on my end. Ashley's going to step back and make sure I'm following the topography of the landscape. Once it's in place, we'll be okay to drill from the outside for our 10-inch brace pin. Good? Good. So right now I'm just looking at the alignment of the drill bit. We want it to be centered on our horizontal, and we want to have a pretty straight lean into that drill. So right now we can bump down a little bit. That looks pretty good. And then Ashley, if you're centered on the post, you can just tilt the drill end down, and that's about the lineup right there. I'm ready when you are. She's going to drill all the way through until she's just started into the other post. Good. Yep. You'll drive the 10-inch brace pin into the horizontal until there's 1 to 2 inches still exposed from the post. In the next segment, this extra will allow us to rest our brace wire on top of it.